In today's episode, she demands I drive out to fix her broken terminal. Twice. Okay, you don't want to charge me for 2 discount soda cups, just because I'm using a refill cup instead. Okay. You want those fries? Sure, no problem. So let's get started. She demands I drive out to fix her broken terminal. Twice. A recent story reminded me of this. Way back in the day, 1992-ish, I worked tech support for a company that handled installations of Unix computers/terminals/software for accounting systems for small organizations. Custom software, check printing, used a special MICR toner in off-the-shelf HP laser printers, all running off Unix, SCO, Motorola, etc. servers. We could dial into their setup and remote control the software, apply updates, etc. One day I get a call from this woman who insisted that the terminal she was using was broken. I called into their system and could see that the terminal wasn't connected at the moment, so I stepped through her making sure that it was plugged in. She insisted absolutely that it was plugged in, turned on, and the light was on and everything. After running through all the possibilities that I could think of, she was still adamant that I come out and replace the terminal, since it was clearly broken. I was hesitant to make the trip, since it was 225 kilometers away, would require about 5 or 6 hours of my day to make the round trip, traffic, and a lot of snow, but my boss told me to make sure these customers were kept happy. I grabbed a new terminal out of the storage closet, some extra cabling, in case it was just a bad serial cable, and my tools, and headed out on the trip. At least I got paid enough per km that it was well worth it. It took me about 3 hours to get there, and the woman is just steamed. I walk in the door, set my bag down, look at the wall, where the power cord is clearly not plugged into the wall itself. I picked up the cable, plugged it in, and lo and behold, the terminal turned on and the login prompt comes up. I looked at her and she tells me that she tried that. I was literally in the office for less than 60 seconds, and since the call was not actually our problem, they got billed for the 6-hour service call in full, and I got 450 kilometers of mileage, at like 25 cents per km, was way more than the gas slash made on my old '86 Honda Accord cost me. Cue the same woman, 8 days later. She's on the phone to me screaming that my fix didn't work at all, and that the terminal was broken again, and that I needed to replace the faulty terminal right now. I asked her if the terminal was plugged into the wall, because remember last week when I came out and it wasn't plugged in? Are you absolutely sure? She was absolutely sure. Sigh. Another 3-hour drive down there. Walk in the door and look at what I see. The power cable is clearly laying on the floor again. I asked her if she saw that it was unplugged. She told me that she isn't technical, and that I should have made sure that it was done right last time. Surprised face. I plugged it back in and guess what? It worked. Huzzah. She was still mad, because it shouldn't be happening this much. Not sure how I was supposed to make that happen. I grabbed my bag, but before I left I noticed that this small company had gotten a new receptionist. I guess before that they didn't have one. So I stopped and chatted for a bit, asked her if she knew anything about what's going on with the plug to the terminal. She didn't have a clue, but she would keep an eye out for me. Made in another 10 days before I get another call from the lady again. I tell her I was on a service call, but I'd call her back in 5 minutes. A quick call to the receptionist where she said that the lady had her little nephews in the room, so she ran and checked that the terminal was unplugged for me. It was. She plugged it back in, and when I called back to the lady she said it was working again, but was still wary that it was going to go out. I told her that if it fails again, have her receptionist call me so she won't have to wait, and I can perform a reset of the connection remotely, a new feature, and get her up and running in 2 minutes. I never had to make another in-person service call to that location again. I sent the receptionist a big box of Bernard Colbot chocolates for Xmas. Okay, you don't want to charge me for 2 discount soda cups, just because I'm using a refill cup instead. Okay. I had forgotten this situation, until my BF brought home a 20-ounce soda. But years ago, I would go to a nearby mom and pop convenience store. Usually, I just get a refill for a 56 or 62-ounce large cup that we had picked up from another store. And usually they would charge us a refill price that was a little over what some other stores would charge us. But since they were a little closer, I figured it was about equal and wouldn't have a problem paying. Now, this store would sometimes have good pricing on their regular sodas to draw people in. And once they offered a deal, 2 32-ounce sodas for slightly less than the large refill price that I usually paid. Now, I'll admit, I should have talked to the cashier before I filled my cup. I take full responsibility for that. But I filled my cup like normal. And knowing that my cup held, at most, the same amount that their cups held, I figured that they would be willing to save their cups and just charge me the special price. They were adamant that I had to use their cups, or be charged the refill price for my soda. Well, I found it to be idiotic, but I said okay. Went to the counter and grabbed 2 cups. Used my soda and filled both cups. But wait! There was still room. So I filled those cups to the top and filled my cup with ice. I knew there would be an ice charge, but that's okay. The ice would stretch the soda out even further, and I wasn't expecting that when I went there. So bonus. Went up, paid for the 2 cups and my very large cup of ice and walked out. They never said another word to me about my large cup of soda. Just so it's clear, I was willing to use my own cup. This would have saved them the 2 cups, which would be more profit to them. And the ice cups were always a set price, so it never mattered how much ice you had. It was the same whether you filled an empty cup entirely, or if you just had half a cup, you still paid their ice cup price. It was ironic that their 2 cups were able to hold more soda than my single monster cup, but I was happy to comply with their instructions. Honestly, I was tempted to get 2 more cups, but it would have been very difficult for me to walk home with the extra cups. You want those fries? Sure, no problem. I worked at a very popular burger fast food restaurant about 12 years ago as a young teenager. One of those restaurants known for being very fast and calculated with thin delicious fries. It was an slowish evening, one where there doesn't seem to be a lot of client, but things are still moving non-stop at a good pace, and there isn't any time to mess around. This is kind of a key element because it does appear like the restaurant is not busy for a client, but still the food is coming out fast, especially since the drive-thru was busy. Come in a couple in their mid or late 20s with an air of superiority you often see from clients ordering at cheap fast food. They come to me and I take their order. Classic order of 2 trios. But then, before I can make them pay, the man points to my right and proclaims I want those fries. I look to my right and see 2 done batches hanging above the frying oil. There are 2 things wrong with his request. First, there is a lot of orders going around and fries are always served last because you want to serve them the freshest. These would be old by the time his burger is ready. Second, these fries should never hang above the oil, and I don't quite remember why, but I know they wouldn't be as good that way. So I look back at him and try to tell him that he would get fresher fries than these, but I can't say a word about the subject. He doesn't let me talk and insists he wants those and none others. He wants fresh fries. Well, cue malicious compliance, I guess? I don't insist, and before making them pay, I go to the fries station, pick up the hanging fries, drop them in the pan thing, add salt, toss them around, pick up the paper fries holder, make 2 servings, put them in the far back of the rack where they stand upright and stay hot. I then turned around to my coworkers and say loudly the fries at the back are for my order. This was the usual procedure for no-salt fries, and so I knew none of my coworkers would serve them accidentally. They were also perfectly positioned for my clients to watch them. I then go back to making them pay, making their drinks, taking another order while waiting for their burgers. As you can expect now, by the time their burger comes up and the sandwich drop, 1 or 2 more batches of fries had been fried and served while their 2 servings were safely waiting at the back, getting old for fast food fries. I pick up their burgers, put them next to their drinks and happily pick up those fries, and put them right next to the burger. Of course, he said nothing. She didn't even look my way. He didn't look up to my face, but I could see he was red and pissed off. But he knew there was nothing he could say. Even my coworker asked me later why I had served them those fries, and she couldn't help but laugh with me once they were gone when I told her the whole story. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.